Yeah, we have to because we have to be out here at 11.
Exactly.
All right, call the meeting of the Budget and Finance Committee to order. Maybe begin with the roll call.
Budget and Finance Committee for the Health Service Board roll call, starting with Committee Chair Sass,
Present.
Commissioner Kremen,
Present.
Commissioner Howard,
Present.
and Commissioner Wilson has joined.
All right, okay. We have two action items here, and we probably have to stop for general public comment. Is that correct?
Yes, I can call general public comment.
Yes, let's do that.
So agenda item number 3 is general public comment. This is an opportunity for members of the public to comment on any matter within board's jurisdiction that is not on the agenda, including requesting that the board place a matter on any future agenda items. I'll be reading our public comment instructions aloud now. The Health Service Board welcomes public participation during public comment periods. There's an opportunity for the general public to comment at the beginning of the meeting on this agenda item, as well as opportunity to comment on each agenda item. In-person public comment will be first, followed by remote public comment. For anyone waiting in the room, you're welcome to approach the podium now. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes to comment in length unless the board president or chair deems new public comment time limits during the meeting. All public comments are to be made concerning the agenda item that has been presented. A caller may ask questions of the policy body, but there's no obligation to answer or engage in dialogue with the caller. The Health Service Board will hear up to 30 minutes of remote public comment total for each agenda item. Remote public comments from people who have received an accommodation due to a disability will not count toward the 30-minute limit. Members of the public attending the meeting via phone can call in by dialing 415-655-0001, enter access code 2661-458-6168 and pound, then press pound again. Press star 3 to add it to the public comment queue, and you'll hear the prompt, "You have raised your hand to ask a question." Please wait to speak until the host calls on you. When the system message says your line has been unmuted, this is your time to speak. You'll be muted when your time has expired. For those watching the meeting on WebEx, click on the raise hand icon to be placed in the queue to speak. A raised hand icon will appear next to your name. When you're unmuted in the system, request an unmute will appear on your screen. Please select unmute to speak. Once you hear welcome caller, you can begin speaking. When your time has expired, you'll be muted. Click on the raise hand icon to lower your hand. Members of the public are encouraged to state their name clearly, although you may remain anonymous. I'll give an audible warning when you have 30 seconds remaining. And when your 3 minutes have ended, I'll thank you for your call. You'll be placed back on mute, and I'll unmute the next caller. We want to thank Media Services for sharing this meeting with the public today. And I'll look in our public comment in person, and no one has approached the podium. I'll move to our remote public comment. We have one attendee. No one has raised their hand at this time. With that, public comment is closed.
Thank you. Okay, let's begin with item 4.
Agenda item number 4, proposed San Francisco Health Service System General Fund Administrative Budget for fiscal year end 2026 and fiscal year end 2027. This is an action item and will be presented by Iftikhar Hussain, SFHSS Chief Financial Officer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We only have a few slides, so I'll walk you through this and feel free to ask questions as I present the information. Okay. All right. So the first item is the general fund budget. We represent you 2 years budget, 2 years worth of budget. We work with the mayor's office on the general fund budget because this impacts the city's budget. There's a structural deficit at the city. And in order to resolve that, they have given us a target of a reduction in expenses of $600,000, which the budget as we're presenting today meets. So we meet that target. We are using attrition to hit that target. So we have 10 vacant positions. We're going to fill 6 and leaves 4 vacant to meet our objectives. Okay, so yeah, so next slide. So as mentioned earlier, we have 2 budgets. The general fund budget, which is funds general administrative expenses and activities, which include member support, the well-being activities. We manage the flex funded programs with our health plan partners. and open enrollment and transition when we change health plans. The Health Sustainability Fund is used to manage initiatives, one-time initiatives. So we let funds accumulate in that fund and use that to make investments, large investments when needed to improve our operations and to improve services to our members. So in the general fund, the budget we're presenting today includes the vacant FTE, like I said, the vacant positions that we are eliminating. We are still ahead of where we're currently funded, but our resources due to the vacancies are pretty stretched. So when we have situations such as a planned transition, open enrollment, we do run into constraints on how well we can serve our members. But in the budget, though, our FTEs are higher or equal to what we are currently staffing. Okay, so this is the main changes that we made to the budget, and you could see that the basic change is really the change in FTEs to get our savings. We could skip that. And, I'm sorry, not skip it, go back to the, yeah. And this one slide shows FTEs by division in case, looking at where our resources are. So we remain, so we're asking for total FTEs, about 53 FTEs. Okay. All right. And lastly, this page shows you the FTEs, revenues, and expenses for the general fund. We allocate all our expenses to the department, so we net out to a zero. And the main change, again, like I said earlier, is the vacancy, the FTE reduction due to vacancies, and the reinstatement of the first responder program by putting in work orders revenues from the first responder departments. All right, so this is the motion. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, maybe first, just to clarify the first question, this administrative budget here is what will be submitted to the mayor's office.
Yes.
The Healthcare Sustainability Fund is managed by the commission, our commission, and is not something that is submitted to the mayor. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. So this particular motion is to approve the budget that will be going to the mayor. Just to want to make sure we're clear on a few topics. Number one is that we have a current number of FTEs right now that are filled, and we have a budgeted number of FTEs that's significantly higher. Maybe you can just give me the difference between what our current positions are and what our current budgeted positions are at present.
Yeah, so currently we have 10 vacancies in total, and our intention is to fill 6 of those, and there's a current hiring freeze going on. So we petitioned to get an exception to recruit 6 of the 10 vacant positions, and we're giving up 4 positions.
How much do you save by giving up those 4 positions? How much do we save?
$600,000.
But for those 4 positions?
But we also held 4 positions this year, is that correct?
So this year we've, as part of the budget that we're in now,
We also had 4.
we made reductions in vacant positions as well. Yes.
Okay, so let me see if I can try and find a way to ask this question a little more clearly. After we remove the 4 positions from the budget, we'll be left with how many budgeted positions?
Oh,
Is that slide 5, maybe? Slide 5, I think. You go back one.
35.
Is that it?
yeah. So this is the slide. So we will be, so in total, including the trust, we will have 53 positions. And we are currently running at 50.
Right. Okay, so we're not really reducing our total positions below what we've been managing with in the current year, and with our actual positions filled or vacant that we plan to fill, will be the same after this budget cut as it was before the budget cut. Is that correct?
Correct.
And the number of positions we currently have are sufficient to manage the department for the full year.
Yeah, the one exception to that, I think, is during peak times when we do open enrollment and we have major plan changes, we get very high call volumes.
Yes.
And during those times, we get an outside service to supplement our ability to get to serve our members.
All right. Thank you. Okay.
I actually have a follow-up question almost to that exact situation. So this past year, when we did the United to Blue Shield, that took presumably more FTEs, but that we're saying that they're not our FTEs. We use a vendor. Is that right?
Yeah, because that's a peak demand, a peak, so it doesn't really make sense to hire FTEs.
Sure.
And the volume of calls actually in that short period is so large that it would be really difficult.
Right.
So we use an outside call center. And in addition to our own call center, Blue Shield had a dedicated call center for our members as well. And they had about 20 people helping us.
Got it. So just sort of taking a moment and looking at the slide that we have in front of us now, just the total FTE, just the bottom line, looks like we're progressively adding over the next couple of years, 25, I guess 26 is 53. Just, can we talk about that a moment here? Just seems like we're going from 47 on the actual to 56 on the total line at the bottom.
Right, so those are the vacancies, yeah.
Because you're
So-
including the vacancies in here just to have how many chairs we have, but how many are filled is a different number.
So, the current, as we speak now,
Yeah.
we have 10 vacancies. Yeah. And want to fill 6 of those.
Okay, I follow that. I'm still a little confused about what number we're tracking on this slide here,
Well,
on
this-
slide
yes,
5,
this-
bottom.
Yeah, this shows year-to-date numbers. And the 10 FTEs I'm giving you now is of right now. Because we've had turnovers during the year.
Okay. Is everybody understanding this, or am I just being confused?
No.
I'm just kind of going from fiscal year of actual 47 to fiscal year 25 budget to 56. And that's the delta of 10 that you're talking about, except I thought we're keeping 6 of them. So I'm just
Yeah.
trying to make the math.
Yeah, let me make sure I understand your question. So you're not seeing the 10 FTEs there, right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm looking at the total line and trying to make sense of it. If you can explain it to
Yeah.
me, because it looks like we're adding lots of positions for the total. The bottom line of your combined budgets looks like we're adding positions, but we're talking about not filling. So I'm just.
Well, I think maybe one of the differences is that in the actual numbers, there's actual doesn't include vacancies, but the budget includes the vacancies. We have what, 6? We have currently how many vacancies? 10.
10
We have
vacancies,
10
yeah.
vacancies, of which we will fill 6. So if you added 6 to all of those numbers, the first 3 numbers.
So the first-
Get it to 53.
53. So again, it's.
But we've got 56. Sorry.
Yeah, the first 3 columns are actual and then 3
Yeah.
columns include, as the budget, including the current year budget.
So I had an unrelated question in terms of the first responder, the budget there for you're keeping it in there, you're not taking it out, because there was a talk of it coming out at one point, but it's staying in there.
In the current fiscal year, the mayor had removed it, and in the technical phase of the budget, we reinstated it.
Mhm.
And now we're going back to, but it was funded with reserves.
Mhm.
And in the 2 budgets that we're presenting for 6 and 7, we're going back to the way things were, which is it's funded with the first responder departments.
Great, thank you. It's a really great program.
Yeah, it's maybe just one other, the way I would look at this is that if we look at the general fund FTEs only, not the health sustainability fund,
Mhm.
just the 38, 30, 44, and 39, we're going to have 43 budgeted positions. We've got 39 and 25 actual positions, but we also have vacancies at any point in time. And if the vacancies is in the neighborhood of 6, then the difference between 38 actual and 43 budget,
Delta.
that's where we're able to move
Mhm.
through to fill our vacant positions. And we don't have that many at the, I mean, I don't know what the date in which these are not, these are actuals as of some date. I'm not sure what date, but that's, I think, the differential. It's not, I don't think we're increasing our positions in the budget so much. I think what we're really doing is there's a change in the health service fund positions, the healthcare fund positions between 25 and for,
Mhm.
and, well, actually it's,
We're
Yeah.
moving positions then.
those are, the positions that get moved into health service fund are filled positions, or there could be vacant positions in there as well.
It's
in
a
the
mix,
health
yeah.
service fund. Sure, it's a mixed bag. So that's a lot of information on the schedule, so it's, I
Yeah,
think
hard to tease
it
out.
took me a while. I had an opportunity to spend a little bit of time on this topic and beforehand, and so I think I understand the differences, but it is admittedly confusing.
Another EAP question. It says it's being supported by other departments. So do other departments fund this also? Do we get money from them?
There's 2 EAP programs. There's the general EAP program, where people can call for any reason.
Right. And from any department
Yes.
that do not be first responder.
And so those are in our general fund budget. They're allocated to all departments. And the second EAP program is the first responder program, where we have dedicated sessions on critical incident response and events. Those are allocated, those costs are allocated directly to the first responder departments.
Okay.
So the additional overrun costs from the benefit itself go to the department? Because you guys pay the base fee for the benefit, and anything over the department pays.
There's actually a PMPM charge for the first responder customized program.
Mhm.
And that's calculated based on the number of people who are in the first responder positions times $3 or something. And then the critical incident response are on top.
Mhm.
So the total spend for the first responder programs is about $300,000.
You might know this question. Who runs the critical care? Is there a certain company that takes it over?
So
And that we fund it?
CompSci is the benefit that we're paying for, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
CompSci?
Yeah, and so it's a third-party vendor that the first responders have access to for their mental health benefit. And then part of that is contracted with them, the critical incident response debriefs, and so for there's a certain amount that are covered by the benefit, and then anything over the department covers.
Right. We have a certain number of sessions that's in the fee. And in the unlikely event that you go over, then we can we have arrangements to bill additional.
Okay, great. And who approves that?
It comes from the department, so we've communicated to them as part of the work order how many sessions are covered.
Mhm.
And so they understand that if you go over, then we need to recover more.
Well, and also, you've talked to our fiscal and made them aware of this, and the fact that they were actually planning on budgeting everything, and now you're taking it back into your budget. So if anything, they should, it'll be an easier pill to swallow, because it's not you're taking the lion's share of the
Yeah, so
budget.
for this year, because of what happened last year in the budget, in the technical phase,
Mhm.
HSS took the funding, 333, from our reserves. But then in the budget years we're going back to the structure where the
Yeah.
first responder department is responsible.
Okay. Thank you.
And
I have one other follow-up question. I think it's maybe a couple slides back. I just was hoping you could make a little bit of a description of the difference of the wellness programs. They're in both buckets, right? They're both in the Health Sustainability Fund and also in the General Fund. I think it's on maybe slide, sorry. Is it slide 2? I didn't bring my slides. It's actually one of your early slides, sorry. Slide 2.
Slide 2.
Slide 2. And if you could maybe just for the, we've got well-being in the general fund that I'm assuming is broad-based education, but I'm not clear. And then there's more specific well-being programs also in healthcare sustainability. I'm a huge fan of well-being, but I'm just trying to understand how different are we paying out of, we're paying out of 2 different buckets. And can I understand that a little bit more?
There's, yes, there's programs that we work with champions from each department to promote their health well-being activities. And then there's programs which are like online, available to all members. So both, I think this slide, actually, you are correct that it's dated because beginning with in 2025, all well-being was moved to the Health Services Fund.
Great, because that was actually part of my question. I was like, well, I thought we had a discussion, and so it
Right.
really should be in the HSF fund,
Right.
which then also explains part of our FTE issue, right? Because we're moving activities that we think are important, but I just was trying to make sure we weren't being duplicative, right? Okay, that's my question.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, well, we have a motion, just an action item. So we've got to have the recommendation is that we approve, and I'll make the motion, I guess, initially, that we approve the San Francisco Health Services System Fiscal 2026 and fiscal year 2027 proposed general fund administrative budget.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any additional questions?
Actually, I do have one more, sorry. So with raising the PMPM, where is that money coming out of? Is that going to be, so we're putting $2 PMPM?
It's
It
part of the
moves
rate
from
setting.
one?
It's the rate setting for all the health programs, and it affects throughout the system. It has a small impact compared to all the rest of the healthcare costs, but some of those departments are there's enterprise funds that fund their shares of this without any general fund participation at all. PUC, airport, I don't know how many there are. There's quite a few. I've kind of lost track of it over the years. And then there's other departments that have they have set asides for their general funds that are, anyway, so that, this is something that works its way out this way. Then there'll be a general fund contribution too. But overall, there is a savings for the city. But more importantly, we've removed positions from this general fund budget that goes to the mayor's office, and the healthcare sustainability fund is something that we have control over here. There is a motion in here to increase the PMPM by $2, but there's a presentation on that coming up. So for this purpose, we have a motion and a second.
That's fine. No, I think we'll have more discussion, it sounds like. I think we're asking to make the decision on that, and we haven't had the discussion on that yet. That's kind of what I'm pointing out.
This is a general fund decision. The sustainability fund is a separate item.
Right.
Got it.
Well, but can we just the hand raise is fine.
Roll
Good
call,
enough.
whatever.
Okay, there's only 3, right? You can vote as well, but how many votes to approve?
Aye.
I,
No, she public comment.
oh, Scott, pardon me, public comment. Did I miss that? Yes, I did.
We'll open this agenda item up for public comment. A public comment is now open. Instructions are being displayed on the screen for those watching on WebEx. For those dialing in, call 415-655-0001 and enter the access code followed by pound and pound again. Press *3 to raise your hand. For those watching the meeting on WebEx, click on the raise hand icon to be placed in the public comment queue to speak. In-person public comments will be first, followed by remote public comments. We'll begin with any in-person public comment. And no one has approached the podium. We'll move to our remote public comment. And we have one attendee on the line, and 0 callers have raised their hand at this time. Public comment is now closed.
Right, thank you. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. So all improved?
Aye.
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 It's unanimous, so that the budget's approved for section 1. Do we want to begin move through the second one. We may have more questions there as we do it.
So I'll call agenda item number 5.
Yeah,
Which is
Yes.
the proposed San Francisco Health Service System Sustainability Fund budget for fiscal year 2026 year end and fiscal year end 2027. This is an action item and will be presented by Iftikhar Hussain, SFHSS Chief Financial Officer.
All right, so this is the second part of the budget, the Health Sustainability Trust. Go to the next slide. So like we mentioned earlier, it is a fund set up based on a PMPM charge. And it's paid mostly by the employer. So 88% of the funds into the trust come from the employer, 12% come from the employee. And we basically set it up to accumulate a balance and then to spend down on projects that improve services to our members. We've covered this slide before. We are asking that so part of what we do when we do the budget is look at the long-term viability or sustainability of this fund. And to do that, we project out the sources and uses for the next 5 years after the budget to see if there's an adequate balance left in the fund. We've repeated that exercise this year, and we require for the fund to be sustainable through 2032, an increase in the PMPM from $4 PMPM to $6. So the FTE change actually is no net change. We're moving some FTEs around, but they net out to 0. The major investments that we're making are the dependent eligibility verification audit, where members are able to turn in their electronic documents electronically to reduce the turnaround time and to make it easier for the members. We also have investments in communications infrastructure to improve our processes, such that down the road, we are able to realize some efficiencies from those investments. So this is a busy slide, but it has a detail of all our major investments. You can see that most of the investment is in communications, both just the communications for open enrollment material, and the second is infrastructure improvements for online communication or website development, which are available 24/7. So we try to do a mixture of high touch, which is the telephones and member services, as well as high tech, which is the web interactions to run the operations. There's also some money for our RFPs in here that we utilize to reduce the cost of the program. Okay. So this is these FTE schedules are health services trust only. And you can see that the major change was in 2005, where working with the mayor's budget office, we moved some positions into the trust. Okay, next slide is the total revenues and expenses. The green columns show the budget, and then the column on the right-hand side show the forecast for the next 5 years. And this is the analysis we use to recommend that we go to the $6 assessment. So that concludes the presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
I just got a quick question. Blue Shield, with our new contract that we have with them, they have projected 2% increase for the next 3 years, each year. Is that what it was?
No, it's more than that. It's 3 and
Or
I thought it's
3%?
3 and 3 and 5s.
3 and 5, okay.
Yeah.
Well, are we prepared if they come back and tell us, you know what, we underbid it, we need more money? That cost us.
So we're not, yeah, so it's a double-edged sword. So if we open it up So right now we have a commitment from them for 3 years.
Correct.
If you open it up, it could go both ways. They could increase it. They could
Right,
reduce
right,
it.
yes,
So that's a double-edged sword, yeah.
which has happened, yes,
And then we had to have a backup plan.
we do.
Yeah.
We'll have to make one. Okay.
Okay. I don't know that I have any other questions, just a reminder that this is not a portion of the budget that's going to the mayor's office. This is just our healthcare sustainability fund as part of our responsibility for managing the trust fund. So is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. So, okay, that's, I think we have a motion to approve. I mean, we don't have a motion to approve yet, but we have a recommendation to approve the San Francisco Health Service System fiscal year 26 and 27 proposed healthcare sustainability fund budget, including increasing the assessment to $6 beginning with plan year 2026. Do we do public comment before we discuss this, or do we ask?
We do. For the record, can we just say who
Second,
moved?
Okay.
And I'll second.
I move that motion.
Okay. And Commissioner Wilson, second. Yes, now we can open it up for public comment.
Okay.
Yeah. Public comment is now open. Instructions are being displayed on the screen for those watching on WebEx. For those dialing in, call 415-655-0001 and enter the access code followed by pound and pound again. Press *3 to raise your hand. For those watching the meeting on WebEx online, click on the raise hand icon to be placed in the public comment queue to speak. In-person public comment will be first, followed by remote public comment. We'll move to our in-person public comment, and no one has approached the podium. We'll look to our remote public comment. There is one person in remote public comment. No callers have raised their hand at this time. With that, public comment is now closed. And we can take a roll call vote.
Right. And is there any additional comment before we vote? Right. So all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 It's unanimous. This motion is being forwarded to the full board for consideration. As I understand it. I think if there is there any further business on this agenda? Let's see. There is not. So we can just basically close the meeting, adjourn the meeting.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you.
Adjournment at 10:36.
Wow, could have started a little later.
Good job.
Yeah, yeah.